Alafia, this is Yaya Feeney again with my Teaching Tuesday. Teaching Tuesday is my opportunity to help you in any way that I can so that we can empower the people, to empower the world, and use this empowerment to change everything in your life, in my life. And so today we're going to speak about how is it that we have situations where there are children in this state. The few months ago, I was in Cuba, and at the airport, there was so many little children dressed in white coming back to America. I was like, oh my gosh, this remind me of when my children were little and had to wear white for an entire year. And so I decided that this is one of the things that I wanted to speak on my Teaching Tuesdays. How do children end up in a faith that requires commitment and to be present and if they're children? Well, it can be different ways, different reasons. I have students who I met because I was doing work to help them with their children, where they came to me and said, I would like a consultation on my child or either myself. And then in it, the child comes up, their spirit comes into the reading, and it says that this is the thing that would balance you. Sometimes the child's spirit is what brings the adult into this faith of Orisha and this spiritual practice of Orisha. And so there are different ways of coming into a child, getting a reading, and then one day it says, getting a consultation rather, and then it ends up saying that this child, to give them the balance, is that they need to reinforce their principle of Orisha that will ground them and will give them the opportunity to shine in spite of what they may experience this incarnation, that they will still be able to connect on a daily basis to understanding why is it that things happen and how to react to them and what type of choices or what type of things they have to put in place. Now, when a child is initiated or ordained into the priesthood, that means that early on in their life, they need a massive and a stronger power source that when you're not there, they're able to have the protection as well as the guidance from within to know what choices to make. Because life is all about choices. And the ashe that children receive is giving them the power that the ashe will hopefully walk with them. I know sometimes people are feeling, oh, you shouldn't push your child into Orisha or to religion, or just you should let them choose. That's fine, because they're going to choose at the end of the day anyway. Because you can initiate a child or have a child initiated into the priesthood, and at some point it doesn't make sense to them physically and what the commitment is required, and they just leave everything aside and decide they don't want to practice this faith. It's fine. It's going to be okay. Because if it served the good for you as a parent to do something that made sense to you, that's all you can ask, is to do the best that you can. And if at that time when you were raising the child, it made sense to you, give you balance, and they have to go and find their own path, that's fine, because God is God in every form. It's always about empowering you. It's about finding a sense of calm, being heard, being nurtured, and to have an understanding that there are bigger things than you that keeps you in this form. And so as long as you believe that and you understand that, your child will be fine. Now, the child may come back later or may not, and that's not important. What's important is that through whatever your child is going through, they find their source, and they find that their life is grounded, and they find a sense of peace. And some children may decide, I don't want to be bothered with this at all. Here's my stuff. You can do whatever it is that you want to do with it. And of course, within your own system, you will decide what makes sense to you. So when a child is initiated into the priesthood, the things that are expected of them is, of course, to develop discipline. The discipline that they will see their parents getting up every morning, having some kind of connection to the ancestors, and having a place where they pray, where you connect and you turn it over to God. And then during the day, you have an opportunity to express to the child what has happened in your day that perhaps you recognize you being in alignment with whatever that force is of that situation. And so when I have my classes on Introduction to African Spirit, Introduction to Orisha, to Yoruba Cosmology, In that, you're able to understand what forces in you are working as an Obatala, as an Oshun, as an Oyemanja, as a Shongo's child, or expansion of the Creator that you are. And so when a child is initiated and ordained, that child is actually walking with a vessel of empowerment. And it's very important that discipline as to their own spirit and to their own voice is important to train them and to teach them why is it that you do what you do. You have to teach them the historical background of this faith. You have to give them, of course, tools that they can see you working with that makes sense. And then when you make rituals and processes that you do, and when it manifests, share that with them. Let them know that this is the hand of God, that in this particular situation, God is female. In this particular situation, God is male. In this particular situation, God is earth. In this particular situation, God is fire, or God is water, or God is earth. And so with that, the child then becomes to see that the things that happens to him on the playground and the things that happen to him in his life as he walks away from you and to go into school and to go to college and to do the degrees or the classes will give them the tools necessary to become a supportive representation of life and to change the world that they want to change it, is that they have all of the power within themselves and that nothing and no one outside can diminish that power. As long as they know who they are, then they understand how to re-energize it, how to take a bath, how to shift that energy, how to really recognize that everything that's happening is a lesson that is coming to you and a blessing that is going to teach me something. So by doing that with any child is important, but especially with a child that is initiated, has a responsibility to wearing white if that's your practice, if it's not your practice, but how to wake up every day and have every 5 days or either every day, whatever system you follow, to have a connection to something that energizes them. Let them know that the Eshu or the Shango or the Obatala that they have is not the Orisha by itself. The Orisha lives in you, in him, and her. And when you go to these shrines, what you're doing is like you're getting gas for the car so you can get to point A from point B. So you're putting more energy of Ogun in you so that today, when you get ready to go to school, you have your energy, so you have to eat your vegetables, and because this is the, then you have the energy of, you have to be calm. When someone baffles your head, you have the opportunity to go to Obatala, and then you use some of Obatala's tools to calm you down so that tomorrow when you make your presentation from what may have happened yesterday, you don't follow up with what happened yesterday, but you follow up with knowing that you know what it is to make the right choice. So it's very important for those of you who have children who are priests, who are Yawos, or who are newly initiated, or that are older. Trust the spirit, but teach them that the spirit of God, of the Orishas, of the rules and the laws and that exist in the universe is in them, is in them. So have a wonderful Teaching Tuesday, and I'll see you next week.